Hello everybody, my name is RODGON. I am an artist, I'm a teacher, a designer, a cartoonist, illustrator, and I like to teach everybody how to draw art. Boop, 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 boop. If you are joining us over on TikTok, please make sure to like and share the stream as you guys join the stream. If you guys are going to be staying for the lesson, make sure that you guys stay with your sketchbooks ready and grab some stuff to draw with. In my case, I like to draw with ballpoint pen and little highlighters. So any highlighter will do. I like it because it's kind of like a little watercolor. So that's why I like it. It mixes nicely with a ballpoint pen, and I like to add my pens with nice wide grip so that I have a wider instance for my hands, so my hands don't hurt after drawing for hours and hours. So that is something that we are going to be focusing on today. And I have a really cool, very, very cool thing that we're going to do today. So today, I'm going to announce that I'm going to make an Inktober list. If you guys do not know what Inktober is, Inktober, it is a little movement started, I believe, don't quote me on this because I have not done my research, but I do believe it was started by Jake Parker. So Jake Parker is an artist. He does a lot of really awesome robots, and he just likes drawing with ink. So one time, I believe the person that did it, if it wasn't him, please correct me. But if I did not, if that wasn't him, but that person started Inktober, and then it just generated a big movement in the art community. So over the month of October, a lot of people come up with Inktober prompts. So I like to do mine because I have a nice little platform, and I sometimes just like to get creative and have fun with my followers and supporting the movement at the same time. So even though we're not going to be following the exact prompt list that they provide, we're just going to do our own, and we're going to try to keep it super fun and with the theme in mind that we have been tackling lately. With the release of my new pinup book, I decided, alongside with my awesome friend Candace, that we are going to come up with a list for pinups. So it's going to be Pin October. And let me see if I can find it. But meanwhile, you guys get a nice little sketchbook tour, I guess. Where did I put the list? Well, anyways, I have a big list of them. I'll make sure to post it up sometime soon. But today, since I need to make a poster for them, I need to make a poster for Pin October. So I need to make the initial pinup. So I need to make a really cool looking pinup today. And I might as well do it while I'm with you guys and show you guys how we implement. We got to make a poster, a really cool illustration for Pin October. So let's go and let's start with a pose. And a very typical pinup pose is a very hourglassy shape. But a really, really strong pinup could be either standing up, or she could be laying down. So I need to see which way would be the most ideal way to create our pinup. Laying down or standing up like that, or just standing up and creating. So that's the first step that I like to think. Which way is my pattern going to be? Maybe I choose an in-between. Maybe she's standing up, but she's just what's up? Yeah, I like that. Leggies, little twisties. These shapes are intertwining, so her other foot would be over here. Her booty will be enhanced right here by that leg going up. And then that lets me play with the rib cage being right here, which means that I would see a little bit of the back of the actual body, and it would curve in to the back of my rib cage. My thighs would be right here, and they would curve around my hip bone, which is right here. So if you guys are familiar with the way that I teach, I like to teach bodies, especially like a balloon and a stick in the wind. So imagine that you have a balloon and you have a stick and you have it in the wind. So this is going to be either moving or overlapping or something. In this case, this shape is this. Only one leg is going down and one leg is crossing. I personally wouldn't mind showing my art publicly. If you are interested, I want to see what I don't. Yeah, no, absolutely. Go hit me up on Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram so that we can set up details, and then we'll just talk about because there's a fee involved, because it's outside of my normal range. So if it's not very expensive, I only charge about $30 for the reviews, but it still has to be accounted for because it's just things that I have to take out of my normal time schedule. So it's not knowledge. I guess that is knowledge, but at the same time, it's private knowledge, privatized knowledge. So I charge people so they do that, but I still share the knowledge with everybody. So you guys are essentially paying to share everybody, teaching everybody a lesson. That's essentially how I see it. You guys are paying for me to teach a lesson to people, and that is based on your artwork. So yeah. If you guys feel like doing it, feel free to message me. But I'm honest, though. Let me get that straight. I'm very honest, right? I'm not mean. I'm not an asshole, but I'm honest. And if being honest is going to hurt your feelings, please don't even message me. There have been way too many instances where people say yes, I want an honest review. And then they really don't. They just want to be pampered. They want to be told that they're doing good. And that's great. I will gladly do that for anybody that needs encouragement. But if you are looking to be reviewed because you want to pursue a career in this, I'm going to give you the honest advice that I wish that I would have received when I was going through it. And sometimes that means, hey, maybe you're not ready for this. Maybe you need to work on this much more. Then I will give you guidance. I will tell you how to get there. But it's going to sometimes be a little disappointing when it comes down to what you expect that you are. Sometimes. And sometimes I'm very surprised. Sometimes I'm incredibly surprised by the amount of detail and talent that's out there, just not even thinking that they're talented. It's just, you never know. I always like to add a little animal with all my care. The reason being is that I think that having a little animal combination with your pinups gives you the ability to play a lot of humor in a situation where maybe the humor wouldn't be there. I like to draw my heads like cylinders as well. For me, the cylinder shape gives me everything I need to draw a face. Really easy. So I like to draw cylinders because it also gives me the guidance for my neck. So that's why I draw cylinders. What do I have to do to review my artwork? Message me on Instagram, and then we can set up a time and a place and stuff like that. I just need you to send me artwork. If you want to do it live, you want to be hearing me and we can set up a Zoom call and stuff like that, we can probably work that out. But it would be recorded and then it would be shared with my whole following. The reason being is that I would probably love to be able to share anything that I review with you in case there's anybody else that has a similar style or a similar level, and then they can benefit from what you got reviewed. So that is going to be the only caveat. And if you're not okay with that, then I don't want to review you. I need to be able to know that I'm going to be able to share that knowledge with other people. And that is honestly the biggest problem that I have with a bunch of people that want to keep the knowledge exclusive. I just can't. I honestly can't, because it sickens me to think that I have to it already sickens me to think that I have to charge people for shit at all. Right. I don't like doing that. And then on top of that, I have to think about what if that person is like giving up, like right now everybody's going through a tough shit, right? Like everybody's going through tough times. So what if they had to like choose between like, like having a better meal that day or like buying groceries and then choosing to buy my shit? Like that's just fucked up in my head. Like I'll always prefer for you guys to get this information free so you guys can go out and like actually use it, so you guys can benefit, so you guys can improve your lives. As artists, it's fucking hard as is, like it's already we're already fighting an uphill battle when it comes down to income and stuff like that, because we want to do what we want to do as creative people, like, so how many times have you guys been told like, oh yeah, you just do doodles. Oh, look at you. Isn't it like silly? Why don't you just do an animation like Disney? You just got to do doodles. Crap like that. Like, like all the crap that like people think that they're telling you nice things, but at the same time, it's like it hurts to the soul because they know that you're maybe not making like the money that you like, they think that you would have been making by now or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, but that's the situations that we find ourselves in a lot of the times as artists. Especially trying to choose this as a career. So that's what I'm trying to combat, like that's what I'm trying to ease on people. Like, I don't want people to struggle. Let's see, what should we dress her as? That's not just a money grab. The only thing TikTok Live I currently enjoy watching. I mean, it's because I don't fucking sell you guys shit. Like, yeah, I have to like pitch my books at the end of the like thing, but I never like try to pressure you guys to do anything. Like, oh, I'm gonna hold this hostage until you guys do this crap. Nah. Like, I find that to be incredibly like that's detrimental to the art community. That's not good for us. That's like the way you grow is by teaching the younger generations how to do what you do so that they can do it better, so that they can progress the art form, right? So they can actually like do something amazing that you never would have been able to do because, that's how it works. That's how it happens. Like, younger generations are supposed to do better than us. Right? They're supposed to learn from us and then evolve the art forms and this fucking like culture and stuff. So like the moment that you eliminate that, and I'm not going to say who does this the most, but tattoo artists. Yeah. Anybody that like segregates their knowledge because they are afraid of the new generation outdoing them or getting them out of a job or all that crap, right? Like, I've heard everything. I've heard every reason why they do it. And it's all ridiculous crap. Like, it's all fear because they don't want change, right? They don't want people to learn how to do it because they're afraid that they're going to scratch people. Like, dude, like if you taught people how to actually access the knowledge, they wouldn't do that. And then they would just be better artists. But they would compete with you and they would take away your stigma of being a really great tattoo artist. So that is why a lot of them don't do it. So my goal in this coming year, I have a buddy, well, not a buddy, but like I haven't really known him, but he offered to help me to teach how to tattoo me. No, he wants to teach me how to tattoo, but he lives in Germany. And I need to make my way to Germany for like a month so I can learn the very basics, right? I'm pretty sure that in the accelerated like way, I can probably learn the basics of it in a month and then just find like ways to learn it on my own once I get back to the States. So that's going to be awesome. And then I'm going to just document everything. And I'm going to keep his identity a little bit secret because I don't want any bad ramifications coming to him. And I'm going to share all that stupid knowledge you guys don't want to share with everybody out of your fear. Well, guess who's coming for it? Guess who's coming for your knowledge to share it with the world? I love my job. Okay, so now we can do anything with this one. How about we just turn it into like Catwoman? Yeah, let's just turn this lady into Catwoman. She has her helmet. Her mask doesn't give her any... But we're going to give it a Catwoman with a sexy appeal. Okay, so she has her mask. She's going to have her tail, but her tail's going to be on a thong. She's going to be at the beach. We'll do a couple pinups, by the way. It's not going to be just this guy. But so we have Catwoman. We have a little tail. The cat tail has to be round. Okay, so we have that. Then we have our hip bones. We have our boobs covered by our arm. And then we have our rib cage and our stomach. So all those little overlapping lines go in that order. Over here, we have the roundness of the rib cage. We have the spine. And then we have the little divot. Like you know that divot that you have in the front of the rib cage? Like the one that you have in the front? That one? Well, you have that in the back too. In the back, if you draw a little heart coming from there, you get your booty and you get your hip bones. So if you think about that part like that, the bottom of your rib cage becomes a little heart, and that gives you really nice placement for your things. So keep that in mind. That's what I use here. This, tucking it right there, and I drew a little heart to come up with the booty. Here's my rib cage. Right? Rib cage, that little divot, booty. Booty heart. So let's see. So now, do we want to give her like shoes, like anime shoes? Yeah, that's kind of cool. So I like to give my ladies like long socks sometimes, but she's at the beach. So would she use socks, or would it be like sandals? Nah, let's give her stockings anyways. She would be really sexy in stockings. So we're gonna, in order to draw stockings, the first thing you need to do is you need to understand the perspective in which your leg is going. Okay, so this is just going to break down to the basic cylinder work that we do when we practice perspective. Okay, so these cylinders have a certain way that they're bending. So if they're bending this way, they're going to go like this. And these lines are going to go like that because it's just these circles repeating until they get to the last one. Okay, this upper circle just gets repeated beep, 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 all the way until you get to the last circle. So the problem with finding out how the legs work is that a lot of people don't really know how the actual hip bones work. So they don't know how to find that initial circle. If you find how the initial circle, that'd be really easy to connect to the other circles because you just connect the edges. So let's figure out how we figure out that initial circle. And that's actually going to be incredibly simple. So in this case, in this scenario, let's zoom out a little bit so you guys can see, okay? Let me grab a Post-it. If you guys are ever in Scotland, you guys should check out Colorful Pricks. That is a tattoo shop that I approve of, by the way, because it's managed by some amazing people. If you guys are ever in Scotland, in the UK, go visit them. They're awesome. I got the mark of the coven. Is this a Catwoman holding a corgi? Maybe you can make it a corgi. Has a little fluffy butt. There you go. A corgi. Okay, so now let's talk about the legs. So that initial circle that you need is going to be in your hip bone. Your hip bone is actually really easy to find out. If you're looking at this from the front, if you're looking at a character from the front, your hip bone is essentially just a cylinder that has the bottom circle points moved in. So you angle in these circles a little bit, and then you have the perfect hip bone. The circles that come along from your cylinder for your leg, at that point, you can connect the edges to them and then change whatever perspective you want to come up with different variations of your shapes. The trick is understanding how to find that circle within your shape. So let's go to this one. Where is that circle in that shape? Well, right here we have our rib cage, and I'm gonna just use my highlighters to show you guys this, okay? There is the initial circle for our rib cage. Oh, that's a little light. That one's dying. No, highlighter, don't die on me. Anyways, we have our circle for our rib cage is there. Our hip bone hole is right here. And the reason for our leg being like that. Okay, so now remember this as well. Right now, you're seeing this not match up, right? Like Rod, you told us that that's supposed to meet up right there, but this is not matching up. The reason being, when you're drawing your hip bones, you're not drawing your butt. You're essentially drawing the connection points for your actual legs, okay? Your leg will be very easy to figure out from that point. But when you want to add booty to things, you need to understand how muscles work. And the muscle for the booty is on top of your actual skeletal system. So if we're looking at this from the side, we have our little hip bone holes, we have our rib cage, and we have our legs coming down, right? It's cylinders. Because we connect that edge to that edge, and then that edge to that edge, and we have two cylinders coming down. Cool. So when we draw this, this does not give us a lot of gadunkadunk. Like, it just doesn't give us any gadunkadunk because we're not drawing that muscle. We're drawing the leg. We're drawing the thigh. You need to add the butt muscle in there if you want to actually have booty. Yes, it looks like one big muscle when you're drawing them, right? It looks like one big muscle piece when you're drawing them, but it's not really. This extra mass that you have over here, that's extra. That goes on top of it. It's kind of like, okay, it's, you need to just learn to segment your body into the parts that it is instead of combining a lot of parts together just because they are next to each other. That would be like combining your shoulder and your bicep just because they're next to each other, right? Instead of thinking of them as two different elements, like your shoulder and your bicep, instead of thinking about them as two different elements, it would be like combining those into one big bulb, which we do at first when we learn how to draw, but that is essentially the same thing as combining the thigh and the butt. So that is, you need to learn the distinction between the muscles, and that is where anatomy comes into play, right? This is the distinction between a person that can draw something really good in perspective and a person that can adapt that perspective into more anatomy-based things. So if you guys want to learn how to draw your booties, all you got to do is remember your rib cage. Underneath the rib cage, there's a heart, right? Tucked in right into your rib cage in the bottom part, like where your abs would go. That is from the back, that is a heart. That heart, if you slice off these parts, it gives you your hip bones. In those hip bones, this gives you the booty. So you remember, your legs come from the actual cylinders. Like from the actual circles that you draw, that's where your leg comes out. Now you can curve it out to make it match if you want, right? But it's always going to come out from that one point. And it's going to give you the booty as well, which is a benefit, added benefit. So let's try it a 3/4 view from behind. Let's draw a heart. We'll slice off the edges so we have our leg holes. Draw our legs going into whatever direction we want. And then we have the back, the booty. And then when we start cleaning up the lines, it gives us a nice little structure that gives us our butt muscles and our legs. So that is essentially how I visualize that body part. And it's actually quite effective. So enjoy. I am going to take a sip of coffee. Male booties, it's the same difference. So okay. The only difference between a male booty and a female booty is the width of the hips. That's it. That's literally it. A male will have thinner hips, therefore have less curvature. A woman's legs will have wider hips, therefore the legs will arch more back in, so therefore creating a taper. This taper is what gives you that. Now, from the back, you have your booty. And then it tucks into the actual back of the rib cage like a heart. Same thing with men's too. You can just do it, it's a little bit less of a wide heart, I guess. But it's the same concept. You can apply it. Remember, just less tapering. Less tapering gives you a more masculine look. Oh my God. This is the argument that happens every time, dude. Like, yes, there's exceptions. The exception is okay as well. Just use the other one. These are just for visual representations. Like, this is not meant to offend anybody. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, it's a drawing lesson. Why does it have to be an issue everywhere? If your body's different, just apply the other one. It's the same shit, dude. That's what I'm trying to explain. It's the same thing, just wider or narrower. That's it. Like, that's my point. Like, you just adjust it to your feeling of whatever you are. All right, so let's go back to this. Let's draw our stockings. Ba-ba. Ooh, you know what? She's going to have one of those kitty socks. Like the ones that have like little kitties. Oh, but it's not from the front. Well, maybe that's fine. Give her some socks anyways. She's lifting her foot in this one, so maybe a little bit of a shadow. Let's give it some color. And just ground her in a little bit. Adding some lines so that I can have some depth. And there you go. Cool. Awesome. Let's move on to the next one. I'll choose one of these guys and clean them up before for the actual finished one. Let's see, another one. We could do one where the poster is like this and then just have like a close-up of a pinup. So we could have like a face. If you guys don't know if you guys haven't learned how to draw the face from triangles, oh my God, please do yourselves a favor and go watch those videos that I put up. Like, it's so easy. Like, it's so easy. Like, it's so ridiculously easy to map out your whole face with an actual triangle. Like, I'm honestly surprised I don't see many people teach that. Like, I stumbled upon that, but like, it's such an easy principle and it's such an easy shape. Like, I don't understand why it would not have been like extensively, like maybe people just thought it was too easy. and they just never approached it. Like, oh, it can't be that easy. Oh, it actually is. Like, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'll do it with the next exercise. And I'll show you guys. Like, it's just really easy to map out your facial anatomy with a triangle. Like, it really is. If you base it off of real anatomy, a triangle is all you really need. And I'm going to show you guys. Papa! I don't really like that. I don't like the close-ups. Like, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. So, if you guys want to learn how to draw the face from a triangle, right? Like a simple triangle. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. You don't even need to start with an actual like face of like an actual circle or anything. So draw your head shape. Let's draw that as a head shape. Yeah? Whatever. I'm going to choose a midline for my head shape. This midline is going to come in the way of a circle. It's going to give me the front and the back of my shape as long as I touch the edges. If I touch the edges, this has officially given me two equal sides that give me both depth, front, back. It gives me the midline. It gives me the roundness that I need for the top of the actual shape and the bottom. Perfect. The perfect thing, the perfect guideline for a face. Awesome. Then I'm going to draw a triangle, a simple triangle inside of this line. The triangle is going to determine the width of my nose. So I'm going to draw a triangle like that. Cool. This triangle is going to give me every mapping section of my face. You guys want to see how? Follow these lines up, and it's going to align with where your eyebrows go, giving you the spacing in between the eyebrows, therefore giving you the space for the nose bridge. Cool. If you follow these down, it gives you your cheekbones. If you connect them, this creates this little infinity sign. This little infinity sign is now your cheekbones, the temples, and it gives you the indication towards your chin, depending on where you decide you want your chin. Boom. I officially have the entire side of my face with no guessing at all. No guessing at all. I did not have to guess one thing about this, right? I decided on the midline and everything else is falling into place really fucking easy. So now this triangle, let me mark it here with like a highlighter because the triangle is really important. That triangle is going to give me the space for my mouth as well, as long as I go down these and make a little teardrop down to my chin. This is now officially the playpen of my mouth, period. I can draw any shape connecting two dots in a curvy fashion. A curvy line from here to here, going from the top, from the bottom, gives me a normal mouth. If you overlap it a little bit and create negative space, now you have a really cool, depthy mouth. And if you do that same thing, but instead of negative space, you give it like lips, well, now you have all those really sexy lips you freaking love. Just by connecting two dots, curvy line, and learning how to overlap some lines. Now you know how to draw mouths, and you can reverse engineer this to the other parts of your face too. Cool. Anyways, now we have a mouth. So that triangle gave me the mouth, gave me the eyebrows, it gave me my cheekbones, it gave me the side of my face. But how do I even draw the nose on this? Well, the nose is the best part. The nose is the easiest. You draw the triangle, right? Determine how long you want your nose to be by drawing a dot, and then just connecting all three parts to it. That gives you the shape that you can use to stylize your nose any way you want and also know the top or the bottom. So if you want to angle this up, do a dot up. If you want to angle it down, draw a dot down and just connect the dots. And that's it. If you want a wider nose, make a wider triangle, make the dot inside, and then just connect them anyways, and then you have a stubbier nose. It doesn't always have to extend out. It's so easy, right? And then at that point, you stylize it any ways you want. Let's try a couple different noses. Okay, let's do like, I don't know, a little roundy nose. Whee! Okay, so now we have that based on that. Cool, another triangle here. So let's try a nice hooked nose like Wolverine's. Like someone's punched them way too many times. Same shit, it gives us all the details we need, right? Triangle, let's make a Pinocchio nose. Let's make it super long. Connect them. And then just draw your details inside, right? At that point, it's just gonna be a matter of your understanding of body parts. So the mapping is gonna be there. It's gonna be your understanding of how much anatomy you know that's gonna take you to that next level. So let's draw the nose. A dot, connect all 3 points to it, and then draw our detail. Cool. So now noses are easy. Finding the mouth, easy. How much space should be here and here? Well, that's going to be dependent on what type of style you want to do. But most of the time, when you have that little teardrop, you want about the same equal spacing here as your chin. So leaving a little bit of space here for your mouth to be perfectly centered. So the space that's here on top of your lip should equal the amount of space roughly for your chin. And that's normally how I just keep it nice and simple. And it's now like, it's just easy. If I need to adjust it past that, if I see a person that has like their mouth really low, well, then I know that it's going to be a little bit lower than my midline. So I'm going to make that a little bit lower so it looks longer. If I need somebody that has a little bit less, like a kid or something like that, they're going to have their nose and that space on the bottom is going to be a little bit bigger. All based on my standard. So the standard, the very base form is your SAM. Okay, your simple anatomy mannequin. So once you find the SAM, once you find a perfect understanding of how to find your features, well, now you can go and you can exaggerate them. You can change them. You can move them. You can exaggerate them. You can make them as small as you want. And then little by little, you learn how to draw things in absolutely every single form imaginable. Like that is how you learn cartooning. That is how you learn caricatures. That is how you learn realism. Like you learn how to adjust all these to the style that is required of you. In this case, the eyes are really big, but if you wanted a character with more realistic proportions, you'd make that triangle a little smaller and you'd make those features a little bit smaller. And then you would have more of a realistic approach to things using that same mannerisms. And so you don't have to change the way you draw, you just have to change the way that you render. So that's essentially how I approach drawing. No, the Pinup book is getting pushed through Amazon, so it's going to have a hardcover version of it. But it's taking forever for Amazon to push it through. Like, I do not understand. Maybe it's like going through like some review guidelines or whatever because of sensitive material is inside. It's not like PG, like it's not R-rated or anything, but it's just a lot of hot girls doing a lot of things. So maybe they held it up for some reason, but I don't know. Anyways, let's continue on. The curvature that you get here for your cheekbone, this little indentation is going to be the same angle as your nose bridge. So whatever angle you choose for your nose bridge, that is how much it curves in right there. And that's also going to be what matches on this side. So all these end up matching, creating two surfaces, one going down and one going up. And guess what's right in between that? Guess what falls right in between here? The eyes. And the eyes are as easy as drawing two dots, connecting a curvy line to each other, and then drawing your eyeball. The same thing we did with the mouth, you do with the eyes. Two dots connected with a curvy line, overlapping the top one. With the eyes, make the line a little darker, and then just draw your eye shape. You have perfect eyes every time. every single time. You want to angle them more? Well, move the 2 dots, instead of being like this, move it up. And now you have angly eyes. You want them down? Okay, do the same thing we did with the nose and with the mouth. 2 dots, that's my standard. We'll move it down. Now I have downward looking eyes. Once you find your standard and you understand how that works, you can modify to your heart's content. Okay, once understanding happens, once Mr. Clicky comes in and he's like, "You got this, motherfucker." So once Mr. Clicky comes on and he's like, "You got this." Once that thing clicks, you can then play around with being creative, right? Once you understand something, it clicked. Once you understand something, it's easy to modify it. So let's explain this. So let's say that we have this shape for our face now. Now that we know that a triangle is what determines everything, right? I can just quickly create this simple shape. This simple shape is going to give you a very rough estimation as to where all your features go in a very standardized way. Segmenting everything into sections. So you're going to have your eyes, which you can do individually. You don't have to draw the same eye for both of them. You're going to have this section right here to play with that gives you your mouth space and the curvature for it. This is also going to provide you space for your cheekbones and your jaw. So you don't even have to think about that shit. It's already there. And then all you have to really know and learn is how to create the element of roundness for the rest of the face. But that comes along very easily by drawing the head as a cylinder. So if you draw the head as a cylinder, and then you draw your triangle, you get a lot of information really quickly. And it's very easy to draw the neck because you already have that indication of perspective. Right? Even though it's smaller or bigger, you can make it as big as you want. It's normally going to be about as wide as your face for a standard face. Like, if you're wondering how big your neck is compared to your actual head, it's actually about the width of your actual head. Like, this is a standard proportions of a person, right? And then they connect to the actual collarbone, right? This is normal. This is a normal way of drawing heads. This is a super easy standard way of seeing things, right? Normally, when you draw things from the side a little bit, you have to add a little bit of a jaw. But that's it. That's why a cylinder is so much stronger than a sphere for drawing the face. It's just so much easier. And I will say this till the day I die from now on. It's so much easier to draw on a cylinder than it is on a sphere. I don't know why. I don't know why. They're both kind of round shapes, right? They're both kind of like, you know, the same kind of consistent shape, but it's just easier for me. And I don't know why. I have no idea why. Like, but drawing a face looking up is easier on a cylinder for me because I just rotate things up. And the neck is already there. So now I have a neck looking up perfectly. And I have the neck for it already, so I can connect it to my body. So, like, this would be a fucking painstaking approach to figuring out how this works underneath, and then how this works right here, like this part right here, this. For some reason, it's so much easier to just draw it straight up connected to the neck, as opposed to drawing that part by itself and then trying to figure that shit out. It just doesn't work. So I hate it. So I start drawing like this, and it just makes the drawings so much better. Like, so much better. That's the reason that I started doing this, by the way. This is still the same thing. Even though it doesn't look like it, this is what I do. When I need to adjust the style, right? When I need to adjust the style, I still draw looking up, right? But instead of using this, I just use it as a connecting point to the ears. So, boom, the ear is connecting right here, and it would connect to the other ear right over here, right? And then after that, I add my volume to it. I just like inflate it around it, and it creates this illusion of it being smaller. I also taper it in considerably so that it even makes it even smaller. But I still keep those retaining connectors. Like I still retain them in every single way, in every single style, right? So it's just a very consistent way of creating different styles and always understanding what you're drawing. That allows you to draw really cute, fun things really quickly. Like understanding, here, check the, like the connecting point is right there. From the bottom here, from the bottom of my other ear that I know how to draw because I can learn to draw things in a sphere, right? If my ear's here, my other ear is over here. So it's not on the side, it's over here. So the neck naturally comes in like that because I take that cylinder into consideration. Essentially, that cylinder is your spine. That is, as far as I can say it, that's the easiest way to explain it, right? Your spine is right there, right? And this is the connecting point with your rib cage. This is your connecting point from your spine and your ears. If you remember that, you're gonna be golden. All right, so let's go back to our lesson. What were we learning? Oh, we were doing pinups. Okay, let's do another pinup. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, we'll draw. Okay, let's draw the heart theory. Okay, so we'll draw two hearts. The top heart is going to give us 2 mapping points, and then the bottom heart is going to give us 2 mapping points. But in this case, we're not going to base it necessarily on, we're going to base it on different mapping points rather than the rib cage. In this case, we look at the bumps for the heart to look for reference points. We already talked about the bumps on the bottom of the actual heart, and these were our booty, right? That was our actual butt. So if we slice off the little nubbies of the heart, we have our hip bones. Perfectly easy. Boom. Now, this upper part, instead of seeing these are going to be the tips of your shoulders or wherever your shoulders are. So if we reverse engineer that, right? If this is our shoulders, this is going to be the upper part of our rib cage. So in order to create the actual gap that we need for our neck and stuff, we just close it off. And then this gives us our collarbone, our neck muscles, and then we just have to come up with an eyeball right here to draw our neck up. So you can take approaches in any way you want. They're all going to lead you to the same result. If you understand the actual placement of things, you're going to be able to be more creative with your artwork. Since we're looking at this from the front, our booty would not play a role in that, but that would be your hip bones. Once you learn how to map out all these little like things, like all these little tiny Lego pieces of your body, once you understand how these things work, you stop guessing. And when you stop guessing, that's when you get to be creative. And when you get to be creative, that's when you have fun. And when you have fun, that's when you push harder. And when you push harder, you succeed. So, the lesson being, if you guys want to learn and want to get better and be more proud of the things you do, what do you got to do? I'll leave it to you guys in the chat. Please let me know. What do you guys think you guys got to do if you guys want to improve in a certain aspect of life? And let's forget about this being just about art. Like, this is about just in general. If you want to be more successful in general, you need to adopt a couple certain things. One, the most important is consistency. If you're not consistent, you're not going to succeed. It's just not going to happen. So you need to be consistent. Because you can have all the greatest ideas in the world, but if you're not consistent, you're not going to accomplish anything. Okay? So number 1, consistency. Number 2 is have drive. Like, you really need to be motivated. but not motivated in the sense like, oh my God, I'm motivated to draw like this piece of art. Oh my God, I'm motivated. And I drew like this textured. No. That's not what I mean. Okay. What I mean is you need to be motivated to understand that this is going to be your life. Okay. You need to understand that this is going to be a journey that you're going to be in for a very long time. And in order for you to feel like you are actually proceeding and succeeding in this fucking long ass journey that we're in, right? Because this is not just like, this is not a 4-year career, guys. You're setting up for like a lifetime of learning, right? This is like, you think doctors going to school for 8 years, 10 years, 16 years is a thing? No, you are going to be a student the rest of your life, especially if you want to actually be like good at what you do. You're going to need to be a student for the entirety of the rest of your life. And if you're not ready for that, then you're not ready for a success as an artist. You're just not. So that is one mentality that you need to do. And I'm not saying I'm a successful artist, by the way, but I know a lot of successful artists. And I'm a semi-successful artist. I'd say that I'm like a D-list successful artist. So I'm still there making a living with my artwork. I try to help everybody else out. Yeah, whatever. That's cool. I enjoy it. I'm proud of what I've done. I'm known worldwide. I'm all right. I think I've accomplished some things or others in my life. But you know what the biggest, coolest success is for me? Is knowing that I can sit down in any coffee shop, draw anyone, and have a connection with them. That to me is a superpower. Being a person that is very introverted, I'm a person that's incredibly introverted. Like, I don't even step out of my house if I don't have to, right? Like, I've been thinking of getting a puppy so that I have a reason to get out of the fucking house. So that I have a little thing that requires my attention to go out so that I take care of myself at the same time, right? So that is a consideration, and his name's going to be Noodles, and he might be a little wiener dog, and he's going to be so cute with his little floppy ears. Oh, and you guys will all get to know Noodles. So I'm thinking about it. I'm not ready there yet, but if I do get a little puppy, he's going to be a little wiener dog. He's going to be long. His name's going to be Noodles. I've thought about having a puppy for so long. Like, it's literally the only animals that I actually have a connection with. Like, I don't like cats. Like, I don't mind them, but I just don't like them. Like, I want my animals to be, like, obsessed with me. I want my animals to just be completely, like, enamored by me. And that's what dogs do for you. And that's, honestly, as a dude, that is what I need, right? Like, I need constant, like, something to tell me that I'm important. Like, that's literally, like, the drive behind everything I do. Like, if people didn't compliment me, I don't think I would have gotten so far in my career. Like, honestly, I just don't think I would have. Like, I think my whole entire, like, disposition as an artist is based on ego boost and props. That's it. Like, my entirety of my career is ego boost and props. And I absolutely am perfectly okay with that, because I'm a very ego-driven person, for God's sakes. I've made a whole channel just to showcase my artwork, just to, like, showcase and tell you guys that I can draw. You know, that's essentially, like, what this has been for the last 7 years. Like, look at me. I know how to draw things. Learn from me. And it's just wonderful. Like, I love it. Like, my life is amazing because I get to do everything I want every day. And it's not amazing to other people because a lot of other people think that this is boring. They assume that what I do every day is I just sit there and draw. I just sit there at my desk and draw. You know, at the end of the day, that is technically what I'm doing, but I'm also reaching thousands and thousands and thousands of people online, hopefully encouraging them and cheering them on as, you know, they pursue their careers and different aspects of, like, artwork. You know, it's not just drawing. Like, you know, if you take these things into consideration, you guys can improve everything from your 3D modeling to your, like, sculpting to your resin work to whatever. Like, it's all principles that will apply indefinitely for the rest of your life if you allow them to. And a lot of people will think that's boring. You know, that's good for them. Like, honestly, like, maybe it is a boring life. But having a nice, peaceful, boring life where I get to do everything I want and anything I want while reaching all the people that I want to reach in this world doesn't seem so bad to me. It just doesn't. It seems actually quite beautiful to me that I get to do this every day. And as long as I'm not starving, I think I have reached a very happy solace in my life. Like I'm not looking for more. That is the one thing that I struggled with the therapist these last months. Like telling him that I was actually really happy with where my life is, and I'm not really like always pursuing the next big thing now. It's just I just look forward to waking up and living my life. And it was just like that's the first time in my life that I can actually say that. Like I've always worked so hard to achieve something, right? Like to achieve a goal. Like every day I woke up with like this drive, like, today I'm going to be famous. Today I'm going to come up with the next idea. And as I get closer to my 40s, I just start realizing like, dude, like I've been living a glorious, awesome life designing. And even though like I never achieved that one piece of fame that I really wanted to, I still reach thousands and thousands of people every single day. And that's beautiful. That's awesome. That's amazing. And I get to hopefully like encourage people every day. And I find that to be amazing to me. Like to me, that's the life. That is what I wanted to do with my career for a very long time. So now that I get to actually do it, it's just like, wow. Yeah, it took a while for me to get to the point where I was actually happy with it, but and it's not like I'm happy because I settled where I am. Like, no, I pursued this. Like, this is something that I've been like, if you guys have followed my journey at all, like you guys have probably seen me struggle with keeping consistent for 7 years or so or more at this point. Right? Like parts where I gave up, times where I just was like, fuck it. I don't know why I'm helping people, why I'm trying to, my life is shit. Like, why am I trying to make other people's lives better if I can't even make my life better? Situations like that, like really test you. And, like there was a big part of time where like I was encouraged by my partner to make more money and to take jobs that I didn't want to do and give up the things that weren't making me money. That almost killed me. I entered a depression that I had never been in before. I entered depression that I didn't even know fucking existed. Because I had been in the one thing that I loved, and then I gave it up just for fucking money. Just to please someone's like selfishness. Through my resources, by the way. Not her own, but her selfishness through my resources. Like not even looking out for the person that's providing for you. Like that's the fucking worst. Like if a person's like giving up everything for you, at least support them, like fuck. But anyways, bitter ex-boyfriend words aside, let's keep trying. Oh, but if you guys haven't caught on yet, you guys are like my therapist too, by the way. Like you guys are like just there to like listen to me, and like I rant into the microphone forever. So while I draw a lot of the times. So thank you. Please don't send me a bill. Can you do the heart theory again? Yeah, let's do the heart theory again. Let's do a couple more. How about that? We'll do them simple right here, so you guys understand how that concept works in different spaces. I'm just gonna do little like little sketches of them. So let's zoom in a little bit. Oh, there you go. I thought you couldn't zoom in anymore. I was like, what? My zoom powers are limited. Okay, so let's draw two hearts always connected at the hip. Right there. Like, let's do those. Let's thin out the bottom. Like the top one should be a little thinner if you're going to be drawing women. So that would be for like men that would have no taper, right? And then for women, you would have, or for curvier people, we're going to draw a thinner heart, a smaller heart. essentially making the bottom bigger than the top, okay? Creating more of an angle. If you do that, whenever you segment your leggies and you create your leg holes, you're going to see that the wider one creates a wider appeal. So you get a more wide body. Also with men, you don't really necessarily taper that. So you have a nice wide upper body. But I like to use the heart method more for women, for curvy people, because it just gives you these mapping points when you curve it in space. And it gives you your booty, right? So I know that my booty is there, so I know that my leg is going to come out of there at some point or another. My shoulders are right here, and it gives me my space in between for my head. So which gives me my cylinder, which gives me the ability to draw my things in very weird and awkward poses that are really often used in pinups. You will never catch me. Draw a chubby girl, please. Okay. So let's draw a chubby girl. So if we're going to be using the little heart method, we're going to work on the actual body structure first. So we're not considering the person being fat or thin at the beginning. We're literally just drawing the body structure. So we're going to draw a heart for the upper body and a heart for the lower body. Okay. Then after I figure out where my hip bones go, because the hip bones are just the bones in your collarbone, then I can start adding mass. So if I have body fat, I'm going to have mass on top of my actual normal body structure. So if I drew a big body structure as this and I want to make it bigger, I just add volume to that. And you end up with characters that have more volume. So the way that you add volume, and this is the reason that we learn perspective, by the way, if you want to add volume to a character, you got to learn the perspective lines involved with your actual character's body parts, right? So you need to understand the basic shapes that consist of your bodies. Because once you find these perspective points out, you can expand these and make them bigger. Very easy. You can take this and make it wider by just making those perspective points wider. You can make this really wide by bringing those perspective points out a lot. And you still have the mapping points that you need. You still have them, but now you also have those overlapping lines for all the little body folds that happen. Right? All these are the folds that are going to help you understand how your crevices and your fat folds and things just being themselves. Like literally, like learning those little basic perspective points is so important. Like literally just learning how this works. Just like that can help you learn how to draw overlapping lines, clothing. All these lines give you everything you need, right? And the more you see, the more you're able to go into deeper details and stuff. So the more that you can subdivide it to the point where you can subdivide it like infinitely like this, so you can create really little detail. You might not be able to see that right now because your eyes just don't see it like that. You know, it takes time for you to develop that eye. But once you do, you'll realize that clothing is a joke. Clothing is the easiest thing to draw. Okay? Clothing is just, once you understand your structure, clothing is just going around your structure. Like that's it. You're just drawing hemispheres around your structure. And you can draw any clothing you want because it's not hard. Once you find that volume, if you want a t-shirt, make that volume a little bit bigger and going this way. You have a t-shirt. If you want something that's like pinching your skin, like something that's really tight, take that, make it smaller, and now you have a pinch. So now my watch is too small. Those perspective points that you learn get really hard when complex shapes overlap each other, right? But that's also very easy because each one is going to have its own separate volume. So you can change each one of them individually. And that's how you get different bumps in different parts of the body. So you can go from somebody having a really skinny leg to making that wider and just making that wider on either direction. You can make muscles like that as well if you wanted to. And that is essentially the concept behind just basic anatomy and basic perspective. Like, this is what a lot of people skip. This is why it's hard for a lot of people to learn how to move characters around, to learn how to draw things from different perspectives, because they don't see this, right? They never learned this. They never took the time, or they thought it was boring, not knowing at the bottom of their little ignorant minds that this is literally the way that you unlock every skill set. This is how you unlock the ability to draw in every style, from little cute little furry creatures to cute little pinups to realism to superheroes to whatever the hell you want. Right? So you can draw absolutely anything you want once you understand how things work. From little cute animals to leprechauns. Let's see, let's find some other examples of stuff. Yeah, so I was trying to play around with like other styles, like Chris Sanders styles, just to figure out if I could figure it out, you know? Like, I was doing Chris Sanders, I did Serge Ubalt, and, you know, I was like, huh, that's kind of cool. I might have to do like a couple series videos and just like break down people's styles. Just for fun. Just to explain how people get to things. That'd be interesting. Oh, and then we did a lot of baby animals. Like, oh. Yeah, Chris Sanders is fascinating. He was my role model like for a very long time, if you guys can't tell. But it's I discovered a couple cool things about his artwork though, just by looking at it with more refined eyes. I discovered a couple cool things. So his eyes are essentially this. Right? It's thin at the bottom, thick at the top, and then he curves it in and creates a big shape inside. And he gives us highlights or whatever. He always has very angled, thick eyebrows, and he normally has a really tiny nose, and he has really puckered lips. He normally adds a little bit of line underneath because he likes to give his characters have like a nice little indication of weight. And then his actual boobies are amazing. He just draws them as like balloons. It's awesome. And his forearms and his hands are so cool. They just like curve around. They just flow. It's so nice to be able to see it and be able to like replicate the flow that he gets. Because I was always, as a younger kid, I was always so mesmerized by it. But like as I get older, I can just copy it if I wanted to. Like it's super silly. Like it's just awesome. Like once you learn like the basics, I skipped the basics for 15 years and then I learned them. And then I was like, what the fuck? That's it? That's it? That was it? I needed that? That's all I needed to learn? Are you fucking kidding me? It was like such a realization. Just knowing, okay, you guys want to know what level you're in? Let's do that little test. I love doing that little test. Okay. Yay, we have about 500 people. Awesome. Okay, let's do this. Well, before we do this, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. I need you guys to do this because this is the only thing I will ever ask you guys, really. Like, if you guys want to help me reach more people, do this. If you guys don't want to help me reach more people, don't do this. But I'm pretty sure that you guys, if you learn something or you guys like the way I talk or whatever, just help me out. Doesn't hurt. Ta-da! Anyways, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Yeah. That's some good coffee. Okay, no, wait, hold on. You're asking what the basics are. I'm going to explain to you guys how I found out how I wasn't like capable of even drawing basic perspective and how I fixed it. So I'm going to show you guys in a second how to do that. It's really, really cool. Okay. This is RODGON powers activate. Form of Milky. Ah! Hello, everybody. What is he teaching you? Rod, we talked about this. Yes, Milky. Yeah. Too many pinups, okay? Shut up. Anyways, let's go into our lesson plan and let's go into, let's talk a little bit about how we find out if we are actually people that understand perspective and if we're not. And if we're not, how do we fix it? Did you put Milky into your coffee? No, he's just dirty because he's old. He's been with me for about 12 years. He is my second longest knowing friend. He kept me company through all the production jobs and all the stupid like jobs that I hated. He literally kept me company. If you guys go back to my Instagram, you guys will see drawings of him keeping me company every day. I'll have to make some shirts with him. Anyways, okay. Do you know perspective? How much do you know perspective? Let's figure out today. Let's figure this out because I have a feeling we're going to have a considerable drop in numbers. Like we're literally going to drop so quickly when we get to like exercise 3 because everybody's going to be like, fuck you, Rod. Like everybody's going to be like, fuck you, Rod. Leave me alone. I feel triggered. So let's start off with very basics, right? Let's talk about, let's just start with very basics. So can you draw your basic shapes? This is something that we all should be able to learn. We can all draw basic shapes. This is step 1. Okay? This is 2D perspective. It is perspective. It's just 2-dimensional perspective. 2-dimensional perspective can be used really effectively to create really cool characters. You don't have to know much perspective to be able to create with this. Even simple shapes like this can give you really entertaining characters if you are creative enough to be able to draw them, right? You don't have to be very creative to be able to come up with a bunch of different characters based on simple shapes. Now, understanding shape dynamics and how things like that work are very important, but it's not absolutely necessary. You can get to this stage and actually be a designer. Like you don't have to learn how to draw at all to be a designer. Okay? You can just scribble things that are appealing and you guys will be able to be designers. I've known several in the professional industry that didn't even know how to draw. I was actually like out of the norm for knowing how to draw in a design firm. That was fucking weird. That was really weird. But yeah, I was one of the only people that knew how to draw at a t-shirt design place, and everybody else was just using Photoshop and Illustrator to be able to come up with the graphics. So I was like, wow, that's actually quite interesting. It's not even like being upset or anything. It's just like, if you want to be creative and you want a job in a certain industry, you can do it. You just have to actually find your way in. You have to just be a little bit more, you just got to finesse yourself in there a little bit different than other people, but you can still get it. So I was like, wow, that's really, really cool. So now that we understand our basic shapes, how do we turn these into 3-dimensional shapes? Well, it's actually quite simple. For circles allow us the ability to create 2 basic shapes in the form of spheres and in the form of cylinders, both of which are really important to understand in very, very thorough detail in order to be able to proceed to draw a body and characters. This is the master shape for me. Okay, what is a master shape? For me, a master shape is like, that was a topic that one of you guys brought up, by the way. One of you guys mentioned this like theme of master shapes, and it made a lot of sense, in which one basic shape is going to be more consistently found in the artwork that you make. If you are a person that has a basic shape, more so like a sphere, a lot of your drawings are going to be more spherical. You're going to be basing most of your things on spheres and blobbies and stuff. Okay, most of your drawings for faces and stuff like that will consist of round shapes. That's why I draw so many round features, because I draw with that shape being my primary master shape. Now, a lot of other people draw things with boxes just as effectively, right? They find their features and their master shape is more so of a box. Some people actually do it with triangles too, which is fascinating to me because that's a really interesting shape to actually master. But that's a really good one for bodies. Triangles are really, really good for bodies to like structure them. But for me, this was my master shape. So I'm going to just mark it. Yay. And for me, understanding this was very important because once I understood this shape in its entirety, it was able to draw everything else easier. Like once I understood this one, these came a lot easier. So let's go, how do you make a box into a cube? Well, a box, if you want to make a box into a cube, all you got to do is draw a second box and connect the lines. That is how you draw a cube in space. So if you want to draw a cube looking, I don't know, up, draw the cube up, and then draw the other box a little bit lower, and you're going to have a lower perspective. You're going to be standing right here. Yay! If you want a box underneath, well, draw the box underneath, and then draw the other box a little bit higher, and you have lower perspective. That's as simple as I can possibly make it. If you want it to the left, draw your box to the left, and then make the box to the left. And then you have your left. And then that's literally the easiest way that I can imagine to teach you every single way of drawing a box and perspective. Like, it's just the easiest thing in the world. Now, yeah, you can also do the whole vanishing point thing and then have like lines coming out, right? You can do all that, but this is easier. If I don't need to draw a whole environment, why am I worrying so much about everything like that? If I need something on top of my character, let's say my character is right here, and we'll keep it nice and simple. Let's say I need a hat on top of them. Okay, so I have my shape. All I got to do is find one flat surface, right? One flat surface to be able to create this bottom shape. So I just create a flat surface with that shape, regardless of whatever the shape of mine is. And then I cut out my other shape from it. And I have my hat. If I learn my cylinders, I can draw this cylinder, draw an overlap cylinder, and then connect the edges. And I have the height of the hat. Let's say I wanted a higher hat. Well, that cylinder can just go up a little bit more, and then it's a higher hat. Well, you want a wizard hat. Well, draw this cylinder tapering down, and then you have a good mapping for your wizard hat. You can make the sides of the hat bigger by just tracing this line and making the perspective line wider, and now you have a white hat. You see what I mean? Understanding these basic shapes and just knowing how to expand them, contract them, is going to be a very, let's make this, make it smaller. What happens? Now we have a waist. You see what I mean? The power of understanding these basic shapes and knowing how to contract them and make them smaller, bigger, and knowing how to move them is very important. So this is normally step 2. So let's move on to step 3 and actually putting these things into place. Actually, no, let me talk about this one. Because the triangles, I don't use them much, but I do use them for one very specific part, and that's the nose. Learning how to draw the nose from a triangle is very important because I start my faces with an actual triangle. I've been talking about this all day, by the way, so I'm going to explain that real fast. So the reason that I like to know how to draw a triangle is because I use that to start my faces, because it gives me all my matching features that I need really quickly. That little triangle gives me my chin, it gives me my eye sockets, it gives me my eyebrows, which gives me my chin, gives me my cheekbones, gives me my temples, and it gives me my, like nose bridge, curvature for my face, negative space, and then, so it makes it really easy for me to draw from like a triangle, okay? So let's just say it like that. So the reason that I use the triangle is because I make it into pyramids by creating a dot and connecting all three lines. By drawing a pyramid, the nose becomes a really simple shape to draw in every single perspective at all. So if you need to draw, if you need to draw the nose coming at a 45-degree angle like this, draw a triangle, draw a dot, connect the dots. Boom. Now you have that, and it also gave you your cheekbones, your mouth, and everything else that you need for that way of drawing. So it's a very, very powerful way of actually seeing the face. I don't know why people don't teach it. I just don't know. I do not know. It's a very, very good way of actually like seeing that part. So that's why I like to draw triangles, and that is the only shape I really use pyramids for. So that is the way you make a triangle into a pyramid, though, by just drawing a dot. Draw a dot, connect all three parts to it. Triangle, dots. Okay, so now let's move on to the step 3, where we're gonna have a lot of people be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Let me show you guys step 3. We're gonna cover all these drawings except like these. Okay, cover that. We'll draw these guys again. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, cool. So step 3. Step 3 is actually drawing our facial features in these very basic shapes. So we did a sphere by drawing a circle and drawing a circle inside. I didn't talk about that. So if you want to create spheres, it's a circle and you draw circles inside the circle. So of different widths. So if you want a lot of those deviations, just draw a bunch of circles of different widths inside, creating all those deviations, so you have all the divisions that you need to be able to map out your face is nice, right? So, but we start by drawing a circle inside of a circle to map out the front and the back of the shape. For for cylinders, you just connect the edges of the cylinder or the edges of the circles together. So you can continue those indefinitely, right? As long as you draw circles of different sizes. That's how you learn foreshortening too, by the way. But we'll talk about that in a second. So in order to move to step 3, that's understanding your basic shape. So it's understanding your spheres to a masterful level. That is going to consist of understanding that whenever you draw a circle inside, you're going to get a bunch of different things. One, you're going to get volume. So if you eliminated this, you're going to have an entire like half-sliced sphere. If you eliminated this side, you're going to have a half-sliced sphere from the other side. It can also be segmented into thirds by doing this. Really easy. Giving you the idea of something, I know you're going to see it in different ways, but something along the lines of an eyeball, right? All those things, all those little lines are also going to give you a couple different things. It's going to give you a front and a back to your shape, giving you the ability to connect two things going through your actual shapes. You're going to use this for things like arms. Okay. You're going to use things like that for things like ears so that the jaw becomes easier to draw. You're going to use things like this, drawing through your shape, to be able to map out parts of a sphere and then connecting them to draw things like mouths. You can also draw your eyes like that. Okay. And as you learn more anatomy, you'll understand the importance of actually being able to see through your shapes. So as you learn, this is normally where you lose people, because people don't take the time to just do exercises like this, right? Understanding how to slice your sphere in different angles so that it comes out differently. Understanding how to do things like making little Pac-Man shapes out of your guys, right? Like slicing parts off. These are very basic concepts that a lot of people skip. But it's very important. And I'm going to show you guys the easiest way to learn how to do this for yourselves, right? So let's do some exercises that are going to teach you if you actually understand this or not. So exercise 1, happy face. You're going to take this, you're going to split a circle, and you're going to draw a happy face. Now, you're going to draw that happy face going around the entirety of the actual sphere. You're going to rotate it going around, you're going to go behind it, you're going to draw it upside down, and you're going to draw it come back up. Not everybody has time or the money for exercises. Okay, well, then you don't have to get better. No one's telling you to do shit. I'm just giving you an idea, dude. You're getting mad because I'm giving you ideas of how you can improve. Wow, that's a new one. That is a new one. I don't think I've ever had someone get mad because you try to help them be better. Okay. Well, I mean, you don't have to learn. Jesus Christ, man. Like, people are so weird. No, I just don't understand it. If you don't have the time or money, why are you on TikTok? You're on TikTok watching an art instructional video, but you don't have any time to draw. All right. That is a very silly thing to say, but all right. See how I'm like drawing through my shape and trying to understand the actual surface of my shape? This is normally really hard for people, especially with spheres. For some reason, when people start looking up, they forget that more space has to be in the bottom because they moved everything up. So this exercise teaches you that. But without the whole like, oh, you got to leave a third and thirds and like divisions and like slices and like no, this just teaches you in a very easy to way understand how to do that. Now, the next stage after that is to add more details to this, right? Like the more details you add, you have to reset. So if you add a nose, well, now you got to understand how that nose works in space, even at the most simple level, which later on is going to help you in your understanding of how things are shaped in space when they have more detail. Because understanding is very important at a basic core level before you move on to something more complex. Yes, it's not pretty. Yes, these exercises are not going to be on your portfolio, dude. Like, these exercises are not going to be in your portfolio, and they're not going to be the exercises that like you show off to your friends. But once you master a very basic mapping stuff, you're going to have so much ease in going into complicated poses that have difficult angles, right? You're going to be able to draw all those things so easy. Like, you won't even question it anymore. Like, that's why they're called foundations. Because they're supposed to be like there regardless of you seeing them or not, right? That is why we focus on learning these things, so that you can learn to draw in every angle conceivable for you. And you don't have to feel like relegated to just drawing the same things over and over. So that is step 3. So step 3 of understanding perspective is essentially just learning how to actually visualize all the elements that come along with these little lines. So a simple line going across like this and like this gives you very basic things like eyes, mouths, stuff like that. So just learning how to visualize these things, really easy, provide you most of the information you're going to require. Now, the next step is to take that and how to visualize the body of a character with that. Like, how do you take that information and then you actually make anatomy with it? Well, that's actually really simple. You take these same concepts of drawing through your shape, which is the front and the back. Now I have my spine and I have my middle part of my chest just by drawing a circle. Then to find the upper part of the connecting point to the head, you're going to draw another circle, slicing it, giving you like an eyeball, right? So your chest is going to be kind of like a long eyeball with the front and the back. And then you're going to create the sides of the actual eye. These sides are going to determine which way your arms go. So you can draw them flat if you want like a nice flat character. But if you want to move your arms around, you're going to just want to move these around a little bit. Okay? This is going to give you the very standard cylinder for your head. Standard. Nice and basic. No deviations from just like a normal standard way of being able to find a head shape, right? Nice and easy. If I want anything different, I can now go here. If I need a big head, I can make a bigger head because I have my standard already. Okay, if I need a bigger body, I can just make the body bigger by extending these, making the rib cage a little bigger maybe, and then just make a bigger body like that. You can make it smaller as well by making all these sections smaller and then a completely different character range. So this gigantic range that you guys can draw. Like literally, you can draw absolutely anything from there. So just understanding how to use these basic techniques of slicing shapes up into this basic structure. If you manage to learn how to draw a circle, and two little wingies, you have a perfect rib cage. This edge is going to give you your arms in the perfect placement for your arms, by the way. So you can move them around, do whatever the hell you want with them, right? This is going to be the muscles next to your neck that connect to your shoulders. And this is going to be your collarbone in the front of your body. The collarbone is the bone that kind of looks like this. Okay, where all your shoulders and stuff like that wrap around. Yeah. This really fucking hard part to learn how to draw has now become a simple joke of just drawing an eyeball shooting a laser beam out. And now you have faces. And you have placement for all your stuff. Where did you go to school for illustration? I didn't go to school for illustration. I went to school for animation, but I didn't really get taught a lot of animation. I learned very, very minimal amount of animation. No, I learned a lot of 3D animation, but 3D animation wasn't what I wanted to do. So I decided to teach myself how to draw better by just brute fucking force. Like straight up brute fucking force. Like I just taught myself how to draw through copying, filling sketchbooks, copying. And eventually something would click and I'd be like, oh, now I know how to draw duck beaks. Oh, I'm a fucking god. Yes, I can draw a duck beak. How can I use that knowledge? Like once I understood this little hard to learn shape, right? This this little potato chip looking thing. This eventually turned into learning how to draw rib cages. This eventually turned into learning how to draw the foot. This eventually turned into learning how to draw hands. That little connecting point, that little tiny fragment of knowledge that I learned, I try to apply it to absolutely everything that I have ever drawn, right? I was the first time that I was ever proud of something. This shape right there, thanks to me learning how to draw a shape of a duck, I can draw an entire head shape thanks to that. Like, it created an element in me that just helped me understand volume, right? So understanding volume was really easy by applying that one concept, and that one concept created volume. So I try to apply that to absolutely everything that I know. Like, literally, that one shape is my master shape. Like, I have a master shape. I don't have like the little like tiny, like, it's not a circle. It's a duck beak. And for me, that duck beak has like infinitely helped me like in every way. Like I said, like, you can draw everything from feet with that little duck beak shape to your joints for your like thighs and stuff like that. That's the same concept that I use for your ankles. I use that, apply that everywhere, because to me, that is a very, very, very strong way of creating volume. Now, you might see your volume a little bit different, right? You might see this another element right here, again. And then again, you would see it in the shoulder. And then you would see it again in the forearm. And then you would see it again in the wrist. And then you would see it again for every single finger. Right? To me, this shape helped me create volume. The little duck beak shape. And that is what I carried through most of my initial career, because I was just really happy and proud that I was able to draw one little simple thing in perspective. I didn't understand how to actually view this in perspective, but I did not know how to do that. There's no way that I could have told you like how to like have volume on either side, even how to shade this, right? At first, I didn't even know that. I just knew that I could draw a line like that, and it created a little duck beak. And it was like this. They were like little ducks like this. So, and then I drew like little circles, and it was like, that was literally the extent of my drawing. But then I would give them hats, and I would give them clothing, and then I would give them like cigarettes and glasses and stuff like that. And little by little, you just start adding things, and you just learn how to draw more and more and more. And the moment that you draw one more thing that you're proud of, you draw more and then more and then more. And then you get more proud, you get more praise, and you keep on going. But the thing is, you need to understand when that praise needs to be capped. And I know that sucks. Like it sounds so weird, right? It sounds so weird. But I have grown into my career understanding that I have to take every single piece of advice with a grain of salt. And that's not just negative advice, right? That's not just criticism. Even positive advice, like cherish, you have to take into consideration, like, where is it coming from? Why is this being said? And is this really how I should think about my art? Or is this something that is going to be like, oh, my family member telling me so I don't get hurt? You know, a lot of us don't know how to handle that. We don't understand how to balance this between hating ourselves and feeling like we're not good enough. Right? Because we constantly take that criticism and then we just see it as completely negative. We see it as, oh my God, I'm not progressing. Oh, look at me. Oh, I can't even draw a sphere in perspective. Oh, what am I going to do? You know, instead of seeing it like that, which you shouldn't, because art is fucking hard, and you should never be like put down for something being hard to do. Like, that's just should be more of a challenge to get to do it. You know, you don't go into a game, beat it on easy, and then just give up. Like, you're like, Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I beat out on easy. I got this. Nah, you go on hard, and if you lose, you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going. Like who the hell gives up because it's hard? Especially if it's something that you love. How many times have you played Mario or like Mario Kart against the 250cc things and you lost constantly? You learned something new, you went back into that shit and you destroyed the bots, right? That is the same thing you do with your art career. And if you approach it the same way, it's going to be very beneficial to you. You're going to approach things, you're going to tackle them. And if you fail, you're not going to see it as a failure. You're not going to see yourself as a loser or anything. You're going to just see yourself as, oh shit, I'm going to come back stronger. I know something different now, right? You're not going against the same person twice. If you're going against me twice with me being the same human being, I did something wrong. I'm not progressing. I'm not evolving, right? I didn't touch that thunderstone and became that Raichu. No. If I fail at anything, it just teaches me how not to fail the same way again. That's it. I'm not a failure. I'm not a loser. I'm not a person that is not ever going to succeed because of it. Just because you fail once, come on. Like, I promise you, I have probably failed more times than most people will ever try to even like attempt to do anything. Right? And from failing so many times, I'm able to learn a little bit more from each one. And each one has taught me that the more I fail, the more I progress. And when things don't fail, that's amazing. But if they do, I no longer feel like it's the end of the world for me anymore. Like, you just feel like, okay, cool. All right. Didn't work this way. Okay. All right. Let's observe, let's analyze, and let's tackle this again. All right. Let's do this right again. Because it wasn't wrong the first time. It was just didn't work out. And that's how you tackle your career. And if you do that, you're going to have a nice, happy, long career full of successes and failures, right? It's going to be full of both. It's not going to be either one. You're not going to always win. You're not going to always fail, right? You're not going to have like a horrible experience just because you didn't get the job you wanted or because you didn't get into the school you wanted. If you want it, you're going to succeed. If you want it bad enough, you're going to work hard enough to get it. And if you don't, you're not going to prioritize it. You're going to see other elements of distractions and stuff like that, and you're just going to go with those. Because if you want something enough, that's it, dude. Like, honestly, like if you want it enough, and I've met more than enough people that wanted it enough in this career, right? When you want it enough, you don't give a fuck about anything else. You really don't. Like, you just don't. Like, you just don't think about anything else other than creating and the next cool thing that you're going to get to do. You just don't. And it's an awesome feeling, but it's hard to get there. Okay? And it takes time. And it takes patience. And it takes hard work. And it takes understanding and knowledge, because this is a career that's hard as hell. This is not an easy career. Anyone that thinks this is easy is completely fucking delusional. Like, anybody that thinks that being an artist is an easy career is fucking delusional or has rich friends that just give them money because they want to launder money. Like, that is the only two people that will ever consider this career to be easy. It's not. But it's something that a lot of us love. And this is something that a lot of us want to pursue heavily, right? So if we want to get there, we need to step it up. We need to acknowledge that maybe we don't understand everything, right? So that we can actually start, so that we don't take 10 years out of our lives trying to figure out something later on. Like, that is the thing. Like, it doesn't have to be that you're perfect now, but it doesn't actually have to be that you are also flawless. You probably have a bunch of stuff that you could work on to make yourself a more desirable artist, a more famous one, or whatever the hell your end goal is. I look away, try to incorporate what you was talking about, hold back, and and you look at cheek. Yeah, I do like me cheeks. Let's see. Yeah, it was a fun sketch session today. Thank you guys so much for being my buddies today and drawing with me. If you guys drew along, you guys have accomplished your more than 15 minutes worth of drawing time today. Congratulations. If you guys are just joining and you guys still want to get a little bit more drawing in today, you guys can always go check out my YouTube channel for hundreds of more videos like these, right? Where I explain things, where I teach something new, and then I just try to tell you guys, like, you know, what to look out for in this industry of ours. Like, I've lived through a lot of the worst and some of the best things that are to like happen to people in this industry. And thanks to that, I can help you guys not have to suffer the same shit that I had to go through. You know, that's what I'm here for. You can see me as a little guide, little just old man in the corner that, you know, is like, I'm back in my day. I'm turning 40. I'm getting there. You know, but even if you guys are not like in that situation and you guys just are curious about how and what you guys need to do, I have a bunch of content that helps you guys figure that out. So with that being said, I'm going to finish up this little pinup with maybe a little bit of color. And I just want to tell you guys that there are ways you guys can support the things that I do. There are books if you guys feel like getting some. There's one called Art Block that is meant to be drawn over. So it's a bunch of sketches like these from our stream. Like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of these from our stream that have different focuses, and then you guys can just draw over them, use them as reference tools, use them as something that's going to help you eliminate some art block, or just something that's going to help you figure out a new pose for your characters. There's a bunch of massive amounts of random shit that we learn every single day on stream, and I share that with you guys through those books. So if you guys are interested in actually helping this channel out, and you guys want to help me grow as a creator, that is the best way you guys can do it. But other than that, I don't really ask you guys for donations or anything. I don't want you guys to subscribe, mostly because I don't create exclusive content, right? Like if you guys are going to subscribe, make sure that you guys are doing it just out of the goodness of your heart, because I am not going to create new like just content just for the people that subscribe. It's just not, it's against everything that I'm like for. Like I hate exclusivity. I fucking hate it. So I'm not going to do that. But to the few people that are subscribed to my channel, and you guys do help me pay the rent and bills and stuff like that. So thank you so much. I do show my appreciation in some other ways. Whenever I get free shit, I normally give it to them. But it's, yeah. I would hate for people to sign up expecting a lot of like cool stuff like other people do, and I just don't have the time to do it. So plus I just don't like doing exclusive shit. So sorry, guys. I know it's to my turn, right? It's like I'm the one not making money from this, but it doesn't matter. That's not what it's for. I have found through my whole entire years of life, the moment that you're generous to other people, things just come to you. Things just happen, right? When you're kind, when you're a nice, actual, genuinely nice person for genuine reasons, and not just like trying to like, I don't know, cheat people or like try to portray a certain persona. Like anybody that's known me for like even more than like a couple days will understand the way that I am. And not a lot of people understand why I do it. Like they just don't. Like they know that I could be making a shit ton of money. I could be working for studios and I could be working for comics and stuff like that. And I just don't want to. Like I just don't want to. Like I could not find something less appealing than sitting in front of a computer in front of another person, having to meet tasks and meet deadlines and meet other people's expectations with my creative energy. And at the end of the day, only have a little tiny fucking credit name in the actual credits of a movie. And nobody will ever know that I worked on it. And I can't handle that. My ego is too big to think like that and expect myself to be happy. Like I just can't. So I don't. And I've had offers too, which is really nice. It's nice to know that you're at that level, but I just don't feel like doing it. What should this one be? This one's going to be a panda. A panda from behind. Some bamboo sticks. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being my sketching buddies. You guys are amazing. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to leave you guys with a nice little message like I do most of the time that I remember. And I want you guys to go out into the world today on this beautiful Monday. I want you guys to go show the world a little bit of kindness. I am a person that likes to enforce this as much as I possibly can. If you are kind to other people, that tends to come back to you. So if you guys are nice to someone, odds are someone will be nice to you back. And that is going to make a lot more people happy than if you didn't. So actively open the door for someone. Tell someone they look pretty. I don't know. Show someone some love in some way or another. Tell your crush you like them. I don't know. Do something. And then I want you also to do this one thing. And that is going to be to go outside and enjoy a little bit of the sunlight. I want you guys to enjoy a little bit of the moonlight if it's already nighttime for you, but I want you to enjoy life a little. We need to learn to live our lives a little bit more in order to actually be able to create from that life experience. Actually going out, looking at plants will teach you how to draw plants better. If you go outside and go to the zoo and you bring your sketchbook, you'll learn how to draw a new animal. I promise you that. And if you guys go out into the world and you draw people, you will actually learn how to draw people. Like, that's just the trick to it. It's just, you just got to do it. So you just have to go out, live your life a little, okay? Then I want you to call your favorite buddy or call your person, whoever that person is, and ask them to tell you the silliest joke in the world or to tell you the funniest memory that he's ever had of you. Because you need to laugh a little and have a little bit of joy in your life every day in order to be able to proceed in this fucking chaos that we call life, right? Without joy and laughter, life becomes really dull and it becomes really fucking boring. So let's aim to actually smile a little today and have a little bit of laughter. So laugh a little. And we are artists. So there is one thing we cannot get away from, and that is to draw a lot. Without this, you can't get better. Without drawing a lot, you can't get those 10,000 hours you require to be a professional at whatever you do. And at the end of the day, if you are seeing this as a career, you guys should probably take this a little bit more serious than you guys probably are right now. Because this is a very highly competitive field. And this is something that you really, really, really need to really drill into your brain. People are going to work hard to get to where they need. You need to be one of those people. Because otherwise, the other people are going to get the jobs you want. And they're going to get the positions that you want. And they're going to get the things that you want. So be one of those people so that you can be one of those people. It's that simple. It's not a very complex equation, guys. So have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Monday. I will see you guys either tonight for another lesson because I get bored sometimes, or I will see you guys tomorrow for another lesson. I'll upload one of the videos up to YouTube today, I promise. I'm going to get back on it because doing the whole dual camera thing on YouTube, yes, it's really cool, but it fucking takes a while to set up. And I'd rather release a video every day than release one every 3 days because I have to do a bunch of extra crap. That's the reason that I stopped doing them like that in the first place. So until I get more time and I get more resources, I think I'm going to stay to this format because I can release one every day and upload one every day. And then the other way, I can only do it once every 3 days because of time. So let's go back to our normal format. And whenever we get a time to make a cool video, we will make one. And that'll be like an extra little treat. Anyways, take care, everybody. Love you all. Yes, even you. Yeah, even you. Yeah. No? Nah. You hang up. You hang up. No, you hang up. Anyways, see you guys later. Take care.